And it is 2:41, and we're going back into public meeting. We discussed the trilogy compensation for release of the CCM, and I don't think that we hadn't heard anything from them, and I think they're just waiting until it gets into the hands, RCH gets into the hands of McLendon-Chisholm City limits. And then we discussed the transfer agreement, and I'm going to contact Mr. Hildebrand, and I'm going to ask him to contact his attorney. What we have to do, we have to mail out ballots for either for or against the transfer of the rural water system to the McLendon-Chisholm city and so what we're going to do, we're going to have an independent firm do that, and I'm going to let Mr. Hildebrand contact his attorney and see who he recommends, and that's fine with us. And then we discussed the relocation of water lines down Highway 205 concerning the expansion of TxDOT. We've got one piece of, we haven't got the official right-of-way map from TxDOT yet, but we do have a drawing of where this engineering company has supplied us. We've got to just send to them saying that we accept that, and then they'll send the original one to us and to them for us to go by, because we can't go by the one that the engineering company drew up. We have to go by the official map of the state.
Just to clarify something, so y'all have a little bit more clarification on this. We're having to authorize an engineering firm to put these drawings together, and we're trying to get a copy of that proposal right here so that we can vote to authorize our chairman to sign that. But we're having to spend that money and move forward with this, even though, you know, we're moving towards transferring all this to the city. We cannot afford to stop, and TxDOT can't afford for us to stop moving in that direction. So this is going to be a pretty expensive undertaking, but it's one that has to happen.
She couldn't get it from my phone to her computer, and she's going to call that engineering company and get them to send it to her.
I can't believe I can't find
It was on the 28th of November. Did you find it?
I can't find it now on my phone.
Yeah, do y'all have any other questions or anything?
I have a question on the last comment that you made about the engineer that you're working with. Specifically, it sounds like to me is that the engineer has access to the official TxDOT documents that you guys need, and you're trying to work through that engineering company to access those?
Our engineer will produce the drawings that show the locations of those pipes and such as that, then TxDOT will review it, and that'll become an official drawing that we can use to put out for bid.
So they'll make corrections if there are corrections that are warranted?
They'll review it, and I suppose they will.
They have their seal on it.
Okay.
TxDOT seal.
So you guys will create documents that show where the lines are. You'll
Yes.
send that to TxDOT through your engineering company, and then TxDOT will affirm those or approve
Yeah.
those.
Okay.
Okay.
If TxDOT would send them, the original or the one that we had to go by.
Okay. Yeah, just for clarity purposes, it was a little bit misunderstood.
And that's what we'll use to put it out for bid.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you'll have to use the one from TxDOT to put it out to bid.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything, whether the directors have anything to say?
What was it?
Maybe these two lawyers talk to each other.
Well, I'm gonna stay on like a duck on the June bug. Have y'all heard anything from y'all?
We had, there was an update with, Conrad did speak with Emily Rogers
He's
recently.
got an update.
Yeah, it just, that she's trying to get in hold of Art and working with that, the timeline and all that stuff.
I know he asked me about a timeline.
Mhm.
And, so,
Didn't you see you hire somebody to do a cost estimate, evaluation of the system?
I think the city did or something. Did y'all hire somebody to do an evaluation of the system or something?
There was an agreement for TMP.
Something about $75,000,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, 75, yeah.
There's an agreement with TNP, and they're requesting at this point information from you all, so they can get started on that. And some of it might be engineering, but there are other records that they're requesting as well. So apparently that is stymieing the city a little bit, because I don't think you guys have completely come through with all that information as requested. And then the other part of it is, they want to make sure that the lawyers are speaking together and that there's some kind of agreement. And I think perhaps, and this is speculation, is that the lawyers on your part aren't going to release any of that information until there's an agreement made. I mean, that's the picture. It's a little cloudy, but again, we don't have a lot of insights because we don't have a lot of information coming out of the lawyers themselves as to where they are with any pertinent agreements.
Are you aware if the TMP actually contacted either one of you fellows?
I haven't heard anything from them.
Or they haven't contacted you, Dwight?
That's Chris Cooney's company.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard anything from him.
Have not heard anything.
I have not received anything myself.
Wow. Wow. Well, we'll definitely follow up to, you know,
I'll be forthcoming, but,
yeah.
I can't tell you someone's coming up tomorrow day and asking.
Right.
We'll make sure
Yeah.
and as Adrienne said, we'll make sure that
Yes.
we get this ball rolling a little bit faster if we can. And if you guys can be cooperative, then, we'll circumvent the lawyers from now on. If you
Yeah.
guys want to start supplying the fulfillment of the request slips. And I'll talk to Conrad probably right after this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be very much the way to do it because, I hope the city realizes, I hope the people at McLendon-Chisholm realizes what this means to the city.
I don't think anybody does.
Well, I'm going to tell you, just for you to hear from me, it's y'all have integrity, that y'all are here, showing up and conducting the meeting and discussing openly, and that you've been talking to Conrad. I mean, thank you. That's a huge thank you from me, and I don't know how many other people realize there's a lot of work when it comes to managing and operating a service like this. So. But as far as communication and all that, I mean, we have the committee formed, all that, and these are some things that we want to make sure to get addressed because it should be streamlined and it shouldn't be this, the lack of communication. We need to improve that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, they're looking at doing a time frame. That's why he's gonna contact the city of McLendon-Chisholm's lawyer to get us their take on who they will trust on doing the vote. So we're gonna allow the city to send out the ballots to the customers, and we'd like to try to do that by January the 15th, get the ballots out, and try to have them back by February the 15th, and try to have the total and what the results were in the March meeting, first meeting.
Okay, just to throw out here, is there a reasoning where you got the idea that you need to vote for this? Because as a board and like other water service corporations, y'all have in your bylaws that y'all could vote for this.
We're just going by what Emily Biggerstaff said in one of the memos that we received back. That they
Emily is that part of the city attorney?
Yeah.
She oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on 1 second. I do have something. Here we go, right here.
Can you go make a copy?
Oh, no, I was just going to read this. I'll just read this thing here. It says,
Sure.
Art Rodriguez and I finally talked this morning. He agrees with me that the WSC will need to have an election. The next annual meeting of the board is in January. Given what needs to happen, this is the likeliest date when the election would be held.
Yeah.
So,
If it was an election, and again, I mean, I will happily show you in your own bylaws that you can vote as a board, you know, to finalize this, to transfer this. You don't, if you want to have an election to have new board members, that's usually what's normally on those types of ballots.
the election to.
No, the election's not for board members.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, normally that's what it is. But in this particular case, because of the transfer, you can vote as a board, not necessarily getting members from the water system to vote on this.
Well, I think it's a big ordeal, and I think everybody needs to have a say in it.
It goes on to say here that I think he addresses what you said there. We could draft the asset transfer agreement such that the transfer of the system to the city is contingent upon the approval by a majority of the members and the approval by the PUC. So what they're saying is we could go ahead and vote as a board to do this, but it's going to ultimately be contingent upon the approval of the people who own this, which is the meeting, the people who own this, and the PUC. And I'm not arguing with Adrienne, this is what the attorney said.
Yes.
So
I think what she's alluding to is like the last paragraph of our bylaws.
Bylaws.
And that's where.
And then
it
it comes from also the state law that says that too. Now there is that option. There is that option in there.
I think we as a board, speaking for myself, are not comfortable with doing something like this without involving all the members of the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about the voting of the members. I'm on the board for Kensington Park next door here, and we have a heck of a time getting homeowners to vote at the annual meeting. So it's difficult to get that accomplished, but we have been talking about electronic voting, which apparently has a very high success rate, so that might be something you guys might want to look into. There are services that do that. For our size of neighborhood, which is 73 homes, the quote was like $800, so I don't know what it would be for the membership numbers of the whole RCH Water District, but if you want a homeowner vote or a member vote, that is probably going to be how you're going to get most people to respond if it's an electronic vote.
well, I think they would jump at the chance to get us out of here
Yeah.
and have the city take it over. I think they would.
Yeah, but you know, look, there's only 5 people here at the meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's way more than that in July and August.
Yeah.
I was here at those.
Was he?
I think the board's gonna react, and, you know, if you send out 2,700 ballots, and you only get back 1,500, and 1,000 was to sell and 500 not, then you're gonna sell.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, is it something that they can mail in or drop
Yeah.
off?
Well, it's whatever the lawyer,
Whatever, how the lawyer wants to do it.
whatever how the lawyer wants to do it, that's
I'm
why
sure-
we're giving it to them to do.
I'm sure the way that they'll do it is the attorneys, the attorney that is gonna conduct the election, they will send out the ballot. They will have for or against the transfer of RCH Water Supply Corporation to the city. Then it'll say yay or nay, and then you'll have X number of days to get this back to them, postmarked a certain day. And then they will tabulate them and give us the deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it. And ever who Mr. Hildebrand wants to, ever who these lawyers suggest, that's who we'll go with.
The attorney's still Michael Hallett, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
If we don't have anything else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Here a second. Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.